Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Angels Always Win 444. Sorry, I had to see how much time it says I had. I forgot to delete stuff, so it's showing that I'm full. So let's just hop right into this. Today we can. I don't know what we're doing in this video. Like, this thing just started recording, and I was like, okay, go. Because I kind of feel like that's just spirit being like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go. We're going to do some mom life tips. So, one, I literally have a book called A Mom Life. Like, look, so cute. It's like got the, you can't really tell, but it's like a metallic, like gold thing. And I got this at Hobby Lobby. I believe it's a daily self-care journal. Do I fill it out every day? No, I forgot I had it, so I just put it on my desk. It has your ribbon bookmark, and it's like a rose gold color. I mean, if you guys can tell. So what it is it says, you have your date. This is not gonna work out. This is all backwards today. So you have your date, and then it says a good mom moment from today, and then you have this much space to write in, and then it says this was hard today, right here, and then it says an idea for a little tiny bit of me time or time for myself tomorrow. So it's honestly really super cute because it can also, I don't know, I feel like it's also like a good, maybe you just had a really rough day as a mom and you're just like, dude, nothing worked today. Don't beat yourself up for it. I like this book because it helps you see that you did accomplish something good today. You did do something good for your kids today. You may have thought it was a failure, but you helped your kids get their homework done. You may have felt like a failure, but you got your kids' project done. Or you may have felt like a failure because you didn't even talk to your kids for the day. And then, you can put that as your improvement for the next day. And me time sometimes isn't just time away from your kids. Sometimes it could actually be time with your kids. Because I think as parents, we're always like, oh, I need my alone time. And it's like, but sometimes we don't realize how much time we actually do spend alone and how much time we do spend in isolation, that we think me time equals isolation from others. And sometimes me time is actually you purposely hanging out with your kids, with the intention of feeling better. And you can even tell them, be like, this is my time. So like, don't ask me for anything type of, set that boundary. Just be like, this is going to be my moment, my time. I want to hang out with you. I want to talk to you. I want to, play this game with you. I want to do something that's going to help me feel better. I think it's very important that you communicate that kind of those conversations with your kids, because then you're teaching them you're modeling good boundaries and self-respect and self-love for yourself. You're modeling that to them, so that way they can grow up and, even from you, they can just say, look, mom, I just need time alone today, or I had a very rough day today. For this hour, could you just not bug me? Right? And we have to respect that. We have to respect that our loved ones need time to themselves to be themselves. And what I mean by that is everyone at all times during the day has so much going on in their mental space, their energy, their energetic space. Especially, empathic people. And if you're empathic, chances are your kids are empathic, because actually, I think when people say or use the word empathic, it's actually also like a hypervigilance. And it's honestly usually due to a harsh upbringing, because you had to be very sensitive. You had to be hyper vigilant of your, the people, like if it was your parents, you had to be hyper vigilant of, and hyper vigilant just means you were super observative. You watched all their body language. You listened to the tone of their voice. You listened to the topics that were going on with them, because you just never knew when you're going to get attacked. And it sounds crappy, but that's how it was. Whether it would be verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, you just never knew when it was coming. So empathy and being empathic, actually, I think it's a trauma thing. I think, the more traumatized someone was, like the higher their empathic psychic abilities are. Because and what it is you learned how to discern body language. You learned how to tell when an animal is gonna, when they're tensing back and recoiling, you can tell they're gonna pounce again. That's a learned behavior. It's a survival technique. You had to learn those behaviors about other creatures in order to protect yourself. That was how you evolved. You learned how to be that hypervigilant child, so you can pick up very quickly on the emotions of others. You can pick up on their mood swings. You can pick up on like their turmoil. But the bad thing is when you don't know how to discern yourself or separate yourself from that person and know that your well-being now as an adult depends on you. And even as a child, I know it's hard because you're like, well, I live with my parents, or I don't know, what I did wrong. Again, when people lash out, chances are it's not something you did, unless you aren't listening to their boundaries and you cross their boundaries, then it's a you thing. But for the most part, when people lash out, it's an internal thing. It's a problem with me. I'm having issues today. I don't have the space. I don't have the patience. I don't have the capacity to deal with your problems. So I'm going to snap when you try to give me one of your problems. Especially if people get used to asking, hey, can you listen? Or like, hey, do you have time for this? Don't just assume that because someone is in the kitchen, they want to hear your fucking problems, okay? Don't assume that because someone is sitting calmly on the living room couch, they want to hear all your problems, that they want you to come and bug them, that they want to hear about some random fact that is absolutely useless to them. I have kids, and usually sometimes it's not even my own kids that do it, and they just come up with like the most random thing, or they do it when they know I'm trying to do something, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, I get that you may not have boundaries and your parents haven't taught you boundaries yet, but you need to respect mine. That's one of my triggers. It really is. And I know it is, because I'm just like, oh my God, I have so much on my plate already. I have so much with my own kids already. And I'm like, I should not have to take on the parenting role for other kids, especially when their parents are in the home. And I'm just like, what? No, leave me alone. But that's one of my things, and I know it is. And I've said it, and I'm just like, not right now. Or I'm like, I don't care. And I say it. And I say, I don't care about blah, 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 blah. I don't say I don't care about you. I am directing that comment specifically where I want it, so that way that child doesn't misinterpret what I said. I'm like, I don't really care. I don't really care why that child was crying. I don't really care to remember something from 10 years ago that is relevant to me right now. And especially when I'm like doing something, it's just like overstimulation is a thing for me. And I get it with parenting. You're like, you have to be perfect. No, give yourself space. You're a human being, and overstimulation is still a thing for you. It doesn't matter how many years you've been a parent. Like, I've been a parent for like 12. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many years you've been a parent. You are still a human being, and you still get overstimulated. You still have emotional problems. You still are dealing with things in the world. You are still on this journey learning as you go. So like, for a child to expect you to know everything and for that pressure to be there on parents, it's absolutely silly. And also, I think it leads to a very huge disappointment when you don't know everything, because they're just like, well, my parents sucked. My parents didn't know shit. But it's okay. As a parent, just tell your child, be like, baby, I'm learning this just as you're learning it. I've never come across this situation. I don't know what to do right now. I need a minute to think. So I need you to sit on the couch while I figure this out, and then I will come and I will talk to you, okay? If you're edgy, if you're like jumpy, because you're, just overwhelmed, you're overwhelmed. Recognizing your sense of overwhelm is very important and crucial, because then it helps so that you don't lash out on your kids, especially because they're your kids. You love them. You don't want to hurt them. You don't ever want to physically hurt them either, because a lot of abuse, physical abuse, it actually stems from a lack of control and a feeling of desperation. A lot of people will hit their kids when they feel they can't control their kids. When they feel that they're not being respected, they're not being appreciated, or when they feel like, oh my God, it's so annoying, but when they feel like one hit wasn't enough and they go to hit the child again and they just start going, they don't realize that child did not physically attack them, because then that's also a different thing. If your child physically attacks you, that's different. But it's the same thing. It's feeling that lack of self-control, feeling like you can't cope with the emotions that are going through your body, mind, and soul, feeling like you don't even know how to get through the situation, right? If say it's something you haven't come across and you're just like, I don't know how to respond to the situation, and I am freaking out inside. And then it makes you hateful towards that child, but in reality, it's fear that you're not going to be able to parent them properly, fear that you're going to mess them up, fear that you did mess them up. Because it's kind of like, oh crap, I didn't realize I was doing that, and I didn't realize they were paying attention to that. So it's kind of like, oh, I messed up my kid. you can fix them. You can. Um, and even then, it's like, if they're of age, that child has made those decisions after a certain point. But try to always keep modeling what you would want them to learn and see, that kind of behavior. Um, but yeah, really learning how to control. One of the things that I was a young mom, so one of the things that I try to teach myself was, if I am ever angry, not to hit my child. Because then it's like, you don't know how hard you're going to hit them. You as an adult are so much stronger than a little baby. So you don't know how hard you're going to smack them. You don't know how hard you just don't know. So if you are enraged, like truly pissed about something, again, tell them, I don't know how to deal with the situation. And if they're babies, obviously just put them in the crib and walk away. If they are in a safe environment, leave them there and then step away from them. Yeah, because especially, it's that bullying thing. It really is. It's where you feel like everything in your life is out of control. Your emotions are all out of control. Situations are all out of your control, or you're just overwhelmed that day. You're just pissed. You're just tired. You're cranky. Your needs haven't been met. So you're like, how do you want me to meet your needs, type of thing? But honestly, this is really what happens. And there's no shame in it. Just learn to embrace the fact that everyone is learning how to be a parent on this planet. Obviously, there are people that shouldn't be parents, and I truly believe that. But for whatever reason, God, the universe, gave them a baby, or they might have really just needed it to level them out. But it should never be to the detriment of the child's health and well-being, because I believe that's why we have so many depressed and hurt and awful and angry people, because we have been raised in not a broken society, but we have been raised with lack of awareness, where people didn't know what kind of parenting has such a huge impact. People are always like, but then also, it's also like, you can't just blame your parents and be like, well, my parents did this, so I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Like, no. Again, at that age, there is a certain age where I believe, like, kind of like at like 16 up, you're more conscious. You're still developing. Your frontal cortex is still developing, I think, until you're like 24, maybe. So you're still learning those decision-making skills, but you still have that capacity to train your mind to create that discipline within yourself. And especially now in a world where we have so much access to videos and resources that can help us, can enlighten us in the area of parenting, where you have to learn how to parent yourself sometimes. Sometimes your parent's never going to emotionally mature. Your parent's never going to admit they were wrong. Your parent just has their own battles. And you know what? They won't even admit they have their own battles, probably. It's just a thing. And just accept it. Be like, cool. You're not capable of changing right now. That's the phase you're on. Like, cool. I'm just going to go then. I'm going to parent myself. Even if you're in the same environment as them, just focus on you. Focus on your growth. Set your boundaries. And if they keep crossing them, keep enforcing them. Don't ever think that because they keep crossing them, it means they're too high, or it means that you should ever back those boundaries down. Like, no, if you set those boundaries, it's for your safety, it's for your well-being. It is a part of your identity. It's like that boundary is protecting your identity. And the more you let people come in on those, the more you're going to lose yourself. So try to maintain your healthy boundaries, because you are protecting your identity and your personality and your character and your morals and your values that are truly in alignment with you, and not letting them be swayed by other people. But yeah, so sometimes you have to parent yourself. I don't even know how we got this to the here, but this was a quick little mom chat, quick little mommy talk. I have a lot of parenting ones. I actually put a little note here because I watched a video last night of a dad. It was like a short. It was of a parent walking with their child, and it was just ridiculous. They were walking with their child, and you can tell he just took one hit, like one shove, and then from there it was just like, you can tell it opened that fucking dam, and this person was not in control of their actions, because you can tell where they just start going at the child. The child looks like he's like 13, and I'm like, are you serious? And in public, and the mom's right there too. And you could tell even she was just like, whoa, what? Like, because then she would, like, but she didn't try to stop it. If you are a mom and your child is getting hit, find something to defend them with. Find something to defend yourself with. Just tackle the person and then lock yourselves in a room if you have to. Call 911, scream for help, So someone else actually came that was just walking by and like tackled the dude, because you could tell like in the video where someone like watches and they're just like, and they drop their stuff and they go and they like shove the dude off the kid, and like then they're like holding him, and then the dude cowers away because it's that realization of like, oh crap, I don't like it when it happens to me type of thing. So yeah, I want to touch more on parenting topics. Obviously, I'm a human being. I'm learning this parenting journey alongside with you, and I want that to be the thing. I want people to know that we are all learning as we go. And if we can learn before the experience happens, it's kind of better to have that advice beforehand, because then your mind's like, oh, wait, I remember they said put the baby down, walk away, put the baby child in a safe environment, walk away and get some space until I can breathe. You know, I'm calm. I found out why I was mad. I haven't ate today. I haven't rested. You know, I'm sleep deprived. Moms, you're champs. Dads, you're champs. Anyone who's taking care of a newborn baby, you are a champ, because you're dealing with lack of sleep, lack of food, plus no time, plus poor hygiene. You've got it, because I've been there, and whew, whole different type of discipline and love level. But all right, I will see you on the next video, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.